Welcome back, and welcome back to another edition of Where I Went Wrong. And in this edition of Where I Went Wrong, we'll be doing Where I Went Wrong, UFC 269. So, all in all, pretty good card. Did not end the best, but had some good momentum in there. I think the prelims I went to the main card with like 7-2, and prelims was solid 7-2 on the prelims. Main card was going good, then a lot of stuff happened. So ultimately ended 9-5, which is pretty solid, and something to build off of. And I feel like it's easy to learn or see where I went wrong with this card. It's not like it's a case of where it's such a glaring error that I overlooked this, overlooked that. There's little small things and a couple of things where the fight just didn't go my way or the prediction just didn't go my way. But nothing, all in all, I feel like nothing in this card was such a big shocker to me. But stuff to learn from and dig from. And again, 9-5, and so that's a good turnaround. So last 3 weeks have been pretty decent. Well, last week was like -1. Prior weekend was like +5 or +4. We can probably have like -1 or something like that, or something like that. By the way, to get like a plus what 4, but I don't know, decent card. All I'm gonna say, decent card, and I'm pretty happy with the results. But this is not about what am I like where I'm happy about. This is where I went wrong. So let's get to the video. And sorry I'm late once again with this video. It's not like today, same day, or the following days. What, like 2 days after the fight. But either way, let's get to the video where I went wrong. And again, I'm not gonna be doing the whole full card recap. The Robertson versus well, maybe matter of fact, I'm gonna do a quick recap. And along the way I'm recapping, I'm going to just talk about some fights and then also really focus on the ones where I went wrong. But first fight went right, Robinson via submission, second round, but it happened in the first round. Cagarera probably should be cut. Matter of fact, she should be cut. Anytime you try to gouge a woman's eye out doing illegal stuff, anyone's eye out, like you're blatantly doing illegal stuff like that could damage someone for their whole life and their whole career, she should be banned. She should be cut. At least be cut. A fine's not enough, I feel. Maybe it was an instinct. She wanted to win so bad, but that's not right. She should be cut or fined hugely. By the way, I didn't cut. And that shouldn't be fined. It should be cut. But yeah, Robinson did what she was supposed to do out there and what I expected. Dominant fight from Robertson. Then the next fight we had Tony Kelly versus Randy Costa, and this is the first fight where I went wrong on for the card. So it was Tony Kelly versus Randy Costa. I think one of the big things I messed up on this one was the fact that Randy Costa has, in the past had issues with his grappling, and I focused too much on the takedown defense of Tony Kelly, and not really that Kelly overall was the better grappler coming to the fight, and strike was relatively even, and also the fact that Costa had looked terrible after the first round, and Kelly is a guy who's never been stopped. So I didn't look at the little somebody in the comment section recognized that, and I didn't recognize that. That's something I overlooked. And I think the biggest thing as far as what I've known going to the fight is that Randy Costa, and I predicted in his debut for him to lose due to his lack of grappling for Costa. Then some fights happen. I look kind of focus on the fact that he did so well against Yanans in one round, and Yanans is hot right now. I got behind Randy Costa. A tight matchup. I leaned to the guy that had put on a pretty good performance against a solid guy at least through one round. A guy that's pretty much the hottest person in this division at the moment. That's not in the title picture, or yeah, not in that title picture yet. But yeah, Randy Costa grappling needs some work, and he needs to work on some cardio. He needs to get off McGregor fast and get with actual legit cardio system because that's not good to fade that much after the first round. By the way, things that we already. I mean, I should have known that he fades first round. That should have been pretty much known. Or I should have recognized that. And I did kind of overlook the fact that Tony Kelly had not been stopped, but that was foreseeable. But ultimately, yeah, foreseeable. Not gonna dwell too much on that one, but I feel like with that one, all I gotta say is like, I gotta just do that little extra step when I come to prediction like that, especially in tight matchup like that. And again, I can't lean always to what have you done for me lately? Because a lot of times styles play a huge factor in fights, in patterns. Matter of fact, patterns are the biggest thing ever. So you can't say, oh, in a close matchup it can go either way. In close matchup, look to the patterns, and the pattern for Randy Costa was the clearest one. That the man fades after the second round. I mean, after the first round, and grappling can be a weak area of his. It's not like he really offensively wrestles or grapples too much either. So it's not like that would have been a thing. I didn't mix in that he might throw one of those in there just because Kelly's takedown defense so bad. But was off on that one. Next fight, Ryan Hall versus Derek Minor. Predicted a first round submission for Hall, but a clear decision over Derek Minor. Can't say too much about that. Was not impressed by Ryan Hall. Was not impressed by Derek Minor. Both guys are relatively who they are. Ryan Hall not everybody at top division like they slept through that fight. They didn't care about what happened in that fight. because that fight really nothing. The people that would beat Ryan Hall would still beat Ryan Hall. The people that would lose to Ryan Hall would still lose to Ryan Hall. And I don't think anybody top 15 right now would lose to Ryan Hall or top 10. Definitely not top 5. I'm gonna say at least top 8. Nobody in top 8 loses to Ryan Hall or worry about Ryan Hall at this moment, and it probably never will be. Same for Derek Minor. So good win. I picked him. It wasn't the method I expected, but definitely wasn't spectacular. Probably would have better if he would have been able to get a finish and maybe shut him out. Good that he got back on the winning side, but ultimately ain't show necessarily no. Matter of fact, he ain't show no improvements. All I'm saying, he ain't show nothing new that we have not seen from him. Matter of fact, we seen better from him. But coming off a bad loss, we got brutally beat up, brutally TKO'd by Ilia Topuria. I guess much better than getting beat up like that. But Topuria is a way different class than Derek Minor. That's all I'm saying. But in our next fight, we had Aaron Blanchfield versus Miranda Maverick. A perfect prediction for me. Blanchfield was like a little slight underdog. People kind of leaned to Miranda Maverick. And people been high on Miranda Maverick, but I never been truly high on her. Blanchfield just had a cleaner technique, and she showed that out there. Maverick is gonna put up a pace. She got some decent technique. She decent skills. She got a nice young talent. But Blanchfield is a much more technical fighter, and she showed that out there. And I predicted that, and that's what she did. Decision, just how I expected her. Took advantage of the aggression Maverick in every single aspect, and just fought with the cleaner technique and dominated. I said to be competitive. I thought it'd be a little bit competitive, but it was dominant. But ultimately, decision, fighter, solid pick. Can't be any happier than that. Next fight, Muniz versus Anders. I picked like a decision for Muniz. I thought Anders' submission defense was better, but Muniz is just very solid with that armbar. Very like he's getting better. Almost say. I don't think it's the case that Anders is getting worse. It's definitely not. Muniz is just getting better. He tapped out his idol in Jacare, and now he fully confident in his BJJ and his skills in the BJJ and his submission ability. Big young guy with some solid BJJ, and like he gonna be a problem for a lot of these guys. He's gonna rise up those ranks, and I look to see more from him. I thought, like I said, it'd be like a decision victory, but he exceeded expectations and got him out of there. Like I said, I thought Anders had solid takedown defense, which he does. Solid submission defense, which he does. It's just that Muniz is evolving from a prospect into a future contender looking like. So good performance from Muniz. Picked him, not the method or the round, but picked him. And yeah, another way I went right there. Next fight, Bruno Silva versus Jordan Wright. Perfect pick. I think first round knockout I picked over Jordan Wright. And just how I was expected to go out. Like Jordan Wright is too hittable, hands always low. Kind of got a little bit of questionable chin. And Bruno Silva got too much power. He's gonna find that chin, cut him off, knock him out, put him on skates, knock him out, walk him down. Like almost exactly perfect as I expected it. He did have a little bit of flashes or nothing, but mostly because he hit him with a low shot. It wasn't because he really did any damage, but hey, he was feeling it, even though he had him low and trying to get some shots off due to that low blow. But Bruno Silva, as soon as he found that chin, short fight, but just expected. Next fight we had Tai Tuivasa versus Augusto Sakai. I think I picked third or second round TKO. By the way, pretty much as I expected. Walking Sakai down. Sakai not going to be doing a bunch of little kicks that can't even keep Tuivasa off of him. And despite being on his toes and being this and being that, having the height, having the reach and all that stuff, guy's too hittable. Tai Tuivasa was able to get inside. Eventually, once he started get that timing down, was able to unload on him and put him out. Just as expected. Maybe a round earlier, maybe perfect, but I'm not going to look back on it. By the way, it was played out just as I expected it to be. So, another solid pick. Another pick I got right. Next fight, this is another one. Let's see, how many picks I got wrong so far through these video? I got the Costa Kelly one wrong. And yeah, I did say I went 7-2 in the prelims. Yeah. So this was the last fight on the prelims. We had Cruz versus Munoz. And this one, it should have been obvious. You don't really even need to look deep into this one to go Cruz, but I picked Munoz. Again, this is a pick where, hey, you have a little bit of fun out there sometimes. Sometimes you just pick some picks, like some far off picks. You kind of ride on the momentum that Cruz is getting older. But Munoz is not the guy to beat him, and was not the guy to beat him. But I went to Munoz and saw like, oh, he has solid takedown defense. He has solid jiu-jitsu. But Cruz is not a guy that's like sloppy or slacking in any area. This guy's hard to put away, hard to finish. And I don't think he's going to get stopped by a guillotine ever in his life. He literally was arch enemy of Team Alpha Male. He was the arch enemy of a whole team just because they led by Dominic Cruz. I mean, Uriah Faber. He also created the whole beef. Uriah Faber didn't really care for him, but Cruz kept the beef alive, and then Faber eventually entertained it because Cruz was the champion. But so he had to go down to try to get his belt, which he failed twice. But either way, and also his teammates mostly failed until Cody Garbrandt was able to get the belt from him many years later. But yeah, so Cruz's guillotine defense is already on point. So that man can be 90 years old. He's not gonna give up a guillotine no more again in his life. So to say, take his legs out of him, force him to hurt him on the feet, then force him to shoot a shot, and then tap with a guillotine. He did hurt him, did force him to shoot a shot, but I think Wheels didn't really. Matter of fact, didn't even look for the guillotine to be honest. But if he would look for it, Cruz probably would have survived anyway. Just the fact that, like I said, the man has guillotine defense down put. He was literally the arch nemesis of Team Alpha Male, which is known for their guillotine. So that man practice guillotine in camp, out of camp, at his wedding, at his daughter's recital. I don't know. He don't got no daughter. He ain't married. But I'm just saying, the man was literally practicing guillotine defense probably to this day because he's not trying to get tapped by guillotine ever again in his life. He could be so far past his prime. He's not gonna give up a guillotine. So should win Cruz also for the fact, like I said, let me backtrack for the simple fact that at this point, probably all the time, Cruz is overall a better fighter in a way than Frank Edgar would say, especially at this given point. And for Frank Edgar to be able to eke out a decision over Munoz, then Cruz should have been able to do the same, if not better, which he did. It was more clear that he did get hurt in that first round, but the second, third round, he was able to be Cruz, look vintage, and Munoz was just coming up short a lot in that fight. I think Munoz put on a lot better performance than people say, like, he got dominated, this and that. I feel like he actually was landing that jab consistently throughout, and Cruz was missing a lot, just like Munoz was missing a lot. But Cruz was landing more. As simple as that. They both were missing a lot, but Cruz was throwing more and landing more. And Munoz was missing wider than Cruz was missing. So, that proceed more on the judges' side of things. Didn't have points, a lot of points, too many points. I'm not saying for the most part Munoz was the one pressing Cruz, but he shouldn't have never allowed Cruz to have that many opportunities to press him. He should have been pressing Cruz nonstop. Just because now, yeah. Because the narrative could have been like before he controlled the cage the whole time. He was the one walking him down, throwing shots. That would have been another angle where he potentially could have stole a decision, but hey, hindsight's 2020. But good performance by Cruz, good vintage performance. I overlooked a lot of names. It's not like I don't know who Cruz is. But again, this was a clear reach right here. But hey, almost paid out. If Cruz was fighting a guy who was fighting Munoz, and the ref the ref was smoking cigarettes and smelled like cigarettes and alcohol on him, like when he fought Cejudo. Hey, Munoz probably would have got a first round TKO, and Cruz would have been mad again on the internet. But also, Cruz did weight bully. Cheat a little bit. We came in like 145 or something for this fight, but hey, no one's gonna remember that. But hey, Cruz got his hand raised. Good vintage performance, and the Jose Aldo versus Cruz fight would definitely be interesting if they set that up. Two of the champions from 2012 when they all had like John Jones, Cain Velasquez, and such. Another fun fact: Pedro Munoz has now lost 3 decisions to 3 of those guys. He lost to the former 155 champion Frank Edgar. He lost to the former 145 champion Jose Aldo, and he lost to the former 135 champion Cruz from that date. So the man clearly is a fanboy for that year, or those years they were champion. And that was the year of a lot of great champions, to be honest. Or those period of years were years of a lot of great champions. Minus Frank. Frank Edgar was a great champion, but he was not one of the ones that was defending a whole lot of time. Cruz had held his belt for a good number of years, had like 3 defenses, I believe. And then Aldo defended a lot of his WC belt a long time. And then they were defending his UFC belt a long time. John Jones, he defended his belt a long time. Cain Velasquez defended a good bit of times, but held his belt for a long time due to being injured for like 100 years. 90% of his career. But hey, I'm getting off track. But if any of those guys happen to fight Cruz, Munoz again, like if Munoz goes up or they come down, they beat him. So who's next? 170? Was GSP the champion at the time? Yeah, probably GSP, but GSP ain't coming back. And definitely, why would he fight Pedro Munoz? And who else was the champion at the time? Yeah, nobody else going to fight Munoz. He fought everybody he could literally fight. They all ended up at 135. The 55, 45, and 35 champions they fought Munoz. They all beat him by decision. But I think the only one who dominated him from start to finish was Jose Aldo. Frank Edgar barely skated by. Cruz almost got stopped, or at least was hurt very bad in the first. But yeah, on to the next fight. We had in the featherweight division, Josh Emmett versus Dan Egan. This played out just as I expected. I'm not going to say no more. Just as I expected. In every single aspect, except the grappling was not as favorable to Emmett, but again, it wasn't a whole lot of grappling in this fight. It wasn't like a whole lot. And Emmett held his own in the grappling, but relatively even. You could lean probably to Eag, but defeat Emmett was just a more polished striker in his show. So close fight, competitive fight, but Emmett just was the more polished striker, I would say, and the more polished overall fighter, and got his hand raised. And the decision is I predicted. Next fight we had Raleigh and Piper versus O'Malley in the bantamweight division, and I know this fight maybe will get stopped second or third. I thought it would take a little while for O'Malley to get his groove on, but he was able to final shots in the first round and put Piper out. And probably one of the better performances of his career, and probably one of the more underrated performances of his career. A lot of people want to write Raleigh and Piper off like he didn't just beat Kyler Phillips in his last fight, who a lot of people are very high on still. They're gonna say that's a fluke and he should have lost and this and that, but he really did at least work Kyler Phillips in those second and third rounds. So got to give the man his credit. People were talking about Kyler Phillips for this and Sean O'Malley just a hype train, but Sean O'Malley for the same guy he did for, and just made it look easy. So good performance from Sean O'Malley. Another pick I got right, but yeah. Then next fight, this was pretty much perfect, but I again predicted later, and it ended in the first round. Kai Kara-France versus Cody Garbrandt. I said going down not the right move for him. His chin is already bad, now he's gonna be even more drained. And another thing, Kai Kara-France is a high level striker. Not like Kai Kara-France is just this mediocre lay and pray artist, and Garbrandt could easily stop takedowns and then strike him. You got going in there with a guy with a lot of power, a lot of speed, a striking background, and you're cutting me down. You're losing a lot of your speed advantage, if not completely giving it up. And the guy has power to really hurt people, and you already, I don't know. Well, momentum was not on his side, and the move was not on his side. A lot of factors weren't on his side, and it just played out that way. I thought it'd play out a little bit longer before he got knocked out, but ultimately he got knocked out. Third, first, second, he got knocked out in the first round, and perfect pick. Well, not perfect, close to perfect, but no cigar. But hey, pick the right guy, pick the right method. Round a little bit off, but this is expected. Next fight, we had Jeff Neal versus Santiago Ponzinibbio. And where I went wrong with this one is, ultimately, I'm not going to feel bad about it. Because in most cases, when that happens in a very tight matchup, a guy like this clearly not looking like his head's on straight, or something else is affecting him outside the round fight, and this thing up here blown, but I'm not going to cut it off. It's going to cameo for the rest of this video. But Jeff Neal versus Santiago Ponzinibbio, ultimately, most times when this happens, probably 7 times out of 10, 8 times out of 10, or at least 6 times out of 10, in a close match like this on paper, if somebody's head's not on straight, the guy that does got his head on straight is going to be able to prevail. And I did say decision. I knew it was going to be a close fight, competitive fight. It was boring, lackluster, but close and competitive nonetheless, with a split decision. It could have went either way, so I don't feel bad about picking Ponzinibbio. It was close on paper, it played out close in the fight, but ultimately Jeff Neal just did a little bit more, or was favored a little bit more on the scorecards, and got his hand raised. But typically in these cases, more often than not, the guy that don't got his head on straight loses in a tight matchup. But yeah, we're going for not gonna be high on Ponzinibbio, especially since the fact that his only win since his return has been Miguel Beza. He's 1-2 now since his return, and Miguel Beza's not looking all that great. And also the Miguel Beza fight, he was getting touched up a lot in that fight by Miguel Beza, so I can't really be too high on Santiago Ponzinibbio going forward, depending on how they match him up, and given the fact that he did accomplish so much and was riding that big streak prior, to coming back. They're going to continue to give him solid guys. Even Miguel Beza was a solid prospect, solid riser. They were really trying to feed Ponzinibbio to Beza, but he wasn't ready to be somebody's food just yet. So they're going to keep trying to give him the good guys. Matter of fact, they're probably going to try to feed him to guys, maybe probably even try to give him Chaos Williams next or something, or try to feed him to these guys coming up so they can build a name off him at this point. They're not trying to build Ponzinibbio up. Well, I guess Jeff Neal was an attempt, or at least a test. I feel like Jeff Neal was a test for each other. Jeff Neal was kind of riding some bad momentum. Ponzinibbio riding a little bit good momentum. Evenly matching up pretty well. Let's throw them against each other, test each other. But I feel like they're not going to give him no easy matches, I'm going to say. So it's going to be interesting how to pick him. And I'm definitely not going to be super high on him going to the next fight. Jeff Neal on the side, not going to be super high on him going forward either. And also coming to the fight, Jeff Neal, it's not like he had beaten so many good people. He beat Bilal Muhammad, who even at the time wasn't his best win. Mike Perry was his best one, really. The win people were so high on was the Mike Perry win. But, aging-wise, Bilal Muhammad is a much better win than Mike Perry. But, yeah. But Bilal Muhammad overall was a much cleaner performance. But, yeah. Yeah, that's the case with that. But either way, it's not like it was so much to lean on Jeff Neal. Riding bad momentum, drinking, carrying guns. Head was not looking on straight. So, I'm not going to feel bad at all to pick, especially since it still played out close. Then into our co-main event. So that's another one I went wrong. That was number 3. And then last 3 picks I got wrong. The number that was called co-main event, Pina versus Amanda Nunes. A pick really probably only a very small portion of people picked were Pina to win. Because what had Pina done? She really pulled off the whole Doctor, what's his name? Doctor Strange on us, where she lost on purpose to Jermaine, like got tapped out by Jermaine Durandamy, and fought not the best against Sarah McMahon, just so everybody would overlook her, even Amanda Nunes, especially Amanda Nunes. She did. It was the only way for her to pull off the victory, and now she sealed her victory over Nunes, and she sealed the rematch really because now Nunes she's in Nunes' head now. So Nunes at first, if she had not saw her lose to Durain Durandamy and got tapped by Valentina, both of those people, she would have have respect her enough to not try to go out there and just knock her head off and try to fight her kind of how she fought Felicia Spencer or some other grapplers. But yeah, she played it. She played her cards right, and the only path to victory, like the only timeline for her to get the victory over Nunes and become champion was for her to lose to Valentina via submission, for her to lose to Durandamy via submission, and for her to kind of have those areas and not up and down. But yeah, it play. I'm making jokes, but it's kind of serious, low key, because Nunes was so overlooked so much, and she should have had. I knew Pino was good and solid, could give her some work, but I feel like Nunes is for like if she was she didn't belong in her there with her. That's what she fought like. Like she trained like she didn't belong in there with her. She fought like she didn't belong in there with her. Then ultimately Nunes looked like who she was prior to going on the tear she did. She like the woman that come out heavy handed, explosive, dangerous. But once she tired, she's easy money. That's what she looked like. She looked like vintage Nunes prior to her becoming, going on her path to being the woman's goat. She looked like she's like a journey woman. That's what she looked like out there. A journey woman with explosive power in her hands. That's what she looked like. When she's supposed to be this two weight division GOAT with a well-rounded skill set, heart, high fight IQ. She shows zero fight IQ, shows zero heart, just like the old Amanda Nunes. So that was interesting. And I mentioned how in the past Juliana Pena would have dominated her. They fought, when Juliana Pena was hot, but now she's hot again. But if they would have fought back when she was coming off the Ultimate Fighter, the fight probably would have played out just as similar like that, or maybe more of Pena just throwing her little slappy punches and keep wrestling her to the ground until she got tired and then mauling her and then like submitting her. But I feel like both have definitely got better since then. But definitely Nunes has obviously outside of this fight evolved much more from who she was back then, and has accomplished a lot more than. But hey, nobody really expected that. Pina did what she had to do, and she got her hand raised. Great performance from Pina. I don't know how it goes from Nunes from here. Well, definitely she'll try to get a rematch. I feel like she's gonna lose that fight because it's kind of hard to overcome that. And now with that in your back of your mind, it's not like Nunes is the hungriest either. So what is she trying to do? But and it's not even gonna be all about how Nunes' head is in this fight. It's gonna be also about where Pina. I feel like Pina's gonna get a lot better coming off that fight. Gonna have learned a lot, training for her for so long and eyeing her for so long. Probably even before she became champion. Then when she became champion, and through Pina's ups and downs, just eyeing Nunes like I'm gonna beat her one day. I'm gonna beat her one day. And then training for her, and then for the game plan to come through like she did. Even you can say Nunes was this, Nunes was that. Nunes dropped the ball. When you drop the ball like that, you pay for it. Like because you would have just did the right work and did what you had to do. You would have got her out of there. She would have no edge over you. Now you got to fight an uphill battle in a lot of ways. And Pina is in a position now where she can. And Pina's not a fighter that's gonna get at this point gonna get so laid back. Pina has always been the hard worker. Had always been like a fighter that can push the pace. Probably one the hardest working woman as far as pace wise. And all the women that made, this woman has been a workhorse out there. Yeah, so she's not gonna be one of the women that get lazy just all winning the belt. So she's only gonna get better. I feel like Nunes isn't gonna try to. Oh, now that I'm motivated, I'm gonna come in and motivated and it's gonna be different. But it's gonna take a lot more than just being motivated and coming in because now you got a much more motivated Pina who last remembers hurting you on the feet and choking you out. So she got a big edge over you, and that's gonna be a big thing to overcome. But I'm gonna have to lean to as of right now. I'm gonna have to lean to Pina in the rematch. But yeah, next fight we had in the main event Oliveira versus Poirier. And how I saw that one, I saw Poirier getting like a third round TKO, but it's another fight where I got wrong, so it went 9-5, solid card, but could be more solid. And this one, I don't know. I just feel like ignoring the glove grab by Oliveira and ignoring some other things. Poirier's takedown defense had been a bit questionable throughout so many fights, and Oliveira was able to take him down, ultimately choke him out. Concern for Charles Oliveira on his side is the fact that you got dropped and almost finished in both your last two fights in the first round. Big concern, especially he goes in there like somehow Conor McGregor gets a title fight against him, or another solid striker gets a fight against him, maybe a striker who has real solid takedown defense, it could be a bad look for him. But Oliveira nonetheless has at this point showed that you can't use that heart debate against him no more. At least for now, you can't use that he lacks heart or he quits. Especially now, he is maybe when he maybe when he was on the rise, I'd be like it ain't worth it. Like so he would quit, or maybe I don't know, maybe it wasn't quitting, maybe it was serious. It's like he was done. But now that he's here he is, like we fighting for the belt. He's like, yeah, I fought so long and so hard to get here. Took so many losses, cried so many times just to get here. I'm not giving up. And now we got a different Oliveira. We got a gold hair Super Saiyan Oliveira, who's gold hair and the gold belt to match. And in these tough moments, he's not gonna wilt. He's gonna power through because he know what he's tasted victory after overcoming adversity. What twice now? Probably more times. So much other stuff. But as far as what we've seen, twice in very big moments. And like I said, we're gonna continue to see that because now he's seeing like he's tasted gold, and he knows he can have positive reinforcement. So I dig deep, I get the win, I go home happy, and we're gonna continue to see that from Oliveira. So we're gonna need to see a complete performance from someone for them to beat it and then whisk that belt away from him. But clean performance by Oliveira. Poirier, feel like he kind of just in this case, I feel like he kind of dropped the ball in this case, like where he got so caught up in Oliveira's game that Oliveira just started to do what he wanted to him in that third round. But then first round looked good, pretty good for Poirier. Second round, like I said, that little weird glove grab in that transition, which ended up Poirier on the ground for the whole second round. Third round, Oliveira just went to work. And by that point, I feel like Poirier was just mentally dwarfed. I don't know where he was at in that cage, but I feel like Oliveira kind of broke him in a way. Matter of fact, like you might say, oh, that was Poirier going to break Oliveira, but Oliveira in that fight, though the cage grab in there or take it out, Poirier got mentally broken there for a second. And the moment he was like kind of dwarfed out there, Oliveira took advantage of it, took his back, choked him out. But yeah, good performance by Oliveira. And without a doubt, the man, the champion. He won the belt, defended it. And whether he defended it or not, the man won that belt. So champion, defending champion now. Look forward to seeing some performance from him. He got Gaethje coming up probably, some other performances. And I don't know, I'm gonna lean going for it against him because, like I said, you can't just say he's gonna wilt, but there's definitely gonna be some good challenges for him. Like Makachev, big challenge for him. Makachev and Dariush, whoever wins that fight will be a good match for him. Gaethje could potentially be a good match for him, potentially, but solid performance for Oliveira. I think both guys will come back stronger. Oliveira's only get stronger with each performance, each big win, and Poirier has been good at rebounding, but definitely feel like he choked out there. Poirier did, and Oliveira fully capitalized on it. And regardless of choking or not, Oliveira is a much different fighter than he was last year and definitely the years prior. But good performance by Oliveira. Hats off to him. And once again, a solid card for me. Solid card for a lot of these guys on the card. And we're going forward to the next card. Same with bad cards. You go right to the next one. Good card, next one. Bad card, on to the next one. Solid performance, but instead of like where it's like a bad card, you're looking to rebound. Next card, you're looking from a good card, you're looking to continue on and be even better. 9 to 5 solid, but it could be better. Definitely could be better. It definitely could have been better, should have been better, but solid card. But I'm gonna build off that and follow next week with an even better card. And that's the video. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and come back for more videos. Peace.